The Deep Space Monitoring Station floated silently at the edge of the galaxy. Commander Crickstall of the Zenari race sat at his console, watching the endless void of space. His 4 eyes moved independently, scanning multiple screens at once. It was another boring day at the border of the Galactic Empire. Suddenly, an alarm beeped. Crickstall straightened in his chair. His assistant, a blue-skinned Valorian named Drex, rushed over. "What is it, Commander?" Drex asked. "Unknown energy signature," Crickstall replied. "Coming from? That can't be right." "From where?" "The Sol system. Sector 4729B." Drex frowned. "That's in the restricted zone. A primitive sector." "I know," Crickstall said. "Pull up the records." The screen displayed information about the Sol system. Third planet, Earth. Classification: Pre-FTL civilization. Technology level: primitive. Last survey: 300 standard years ago. "They don't even have faster-than-light travel," Drex said. "Must be a sensor error." But the readings kept coming. Something was moving through space at speeds that shouldn't be possible for a primitive species. Crickstall leaned forward, his scales rustling with unease. "Send a probe," he ordered. 20 minutes later, the probe's data streamed in. The object was definitely a ship. Its design was unlike anything in the Empire's database. It looked crude, almost cobbled together, but the energy readings were off the charts. "Commander," another officer called out, "the ship is transmitting." "Put it through," Crickstall said. Static filled the room. Then a voice came through. It spoke in broken galactic standard, the common language of the Empire. "This is Captain Amy Johnson of the Earth vessel Phoenix. We come in peace and seek dialogue with the Galactic Empire. Please respond." The control room fell silent. Everyone stared at the speakers. "Earth vessel," Drex whispered. "That's impossible." Crickstall's 4 eyes narrowed. He activated his communicator. "Unknown vessel. This is Commander Crickstall of the Galactic Empire Border Station 7. State your origin and purpose." "We are from Earth, Sol system," the voice replied. "We wish to establish diplomatic relations with the Galactic Empire." Crickstall let out a harsh laugh. The Zenari didn't laugh like humans. It sounded more like metal scraping against metal. "Is this some kind of joke? Earth doesn't have space travel technology." "With respect, Commander, we do now," Amy Johnson replied. "We're approaching your station. We hope to meet peacefully." Crickstall cut the communication and turned to his staff. "Alert the fleet. Something strange is happening here." "Should we attack?" Drex asked. "Not yet. Let them come closer. I want to see this Earth vessel with my own eyes." The Phoenix continued its approach. As it drew nearer, the station's advanced sensors struggled to make sense of what they detected. The ship's hull seemed to be made of materials that didn't exist in the Empire's scientific records. Its power source registered as both fusion and something else, something unknown. "How big is it?" Crickstall asked. "About the size of a medium patrol cruiser," an officer reported. "But the energy output, it's reading like a battleship." "That's not possible," Crickstall muttered. But the data didn't lie. The Phoenix finally came into visual range. On the screen appeared a ship that looked almost laughably primitive to Empire eyes. It had a bulky, angular design with what appeared to be welded armor plates. Various components stuck out at odd angles. It looked like someone had built it in their backyard. But the sensor readings told a different story. Whatever powered that ship was beyond anything the Empire had seen. "Commander," Drex said quietly, "what if they really are from Earth?" Crickstall didn't answer. His 4 eyes remained fixed on the screen, watching the impossible ship draw closer. In his 300 years of service, he had never seen anything that confused him more. The galaxy was about to change, and it all started with one impossible ship from a world everyone had written off as primitive. The Phoenix drifted slowly toward the Empire's border checkpoint. Inside the ship, Captain Amy Johnson stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind her back. Her crew worked quietly at their stations, aware of the historic moment. "Captain, 17 alien vessels are converging on our position," Jake Miller reported from the navigation console. He was a young officer, but his voice remained steady. "Let them come," Amy said. "Keep our weapons powered down. We're here to talk, not fight." Outside, the Empire's ships formed a defensive circle around the Phoenix. Each vessel was sleek and beautiful, with smooth curves and gleaming hulls that seemed to shimmer in the starlight. They looked like works of art compared to the Phoenix's rough exterior. On the lead Empire ship, Admiral Vornash studied the human vessel with growing confusion. The Krellian officer had seen thousands of ships in his long career, but nothing like this. "What do the scanners show?" he asked his science officer. "The readings make no sense, Admiral," the officer replied. "The hull appears to be made of multiple alloys fused together. Some of these materials, we can't identify them." "What about weapons?" "We detect weapon ports, but they're sealed. Power signatures suggest." The officer paused, double-checking his instruments. "This can't be correct." "What is it?" "The power output from their weapon systems exceeds our main battleship cannons, but the emitters are a fraction of the size." Vornash's 6 arms tensed. "That's impossible. Run the scans again." Back on the Phoenix, Amy opened a communication channel. "Galactic Empire vessels, this is Captain Johnson. We request permission to proceed to your checkpoint for official first contact procedures." The response came from Admiral Vornash himself. "Earth vessel, you will submit to immediate inspection. Power down all systems and prepare to be boarded." Amy glanced at her communications officer, Lisa Roberts. The scientist shook her head slightly. "Admiral, we respectfully decline boarding at this time," Amy said. "Our ship contains sensitive technology. We're happy to meet at your checkpoint station." "You are in no position to make demands," Vornash growled. "You are outnumbered 17-1. "We understand," Amy replied calmly. "But we're not here to fight. We simply ask for standard diplomatic protocols." On his bridge, Vornash studied the tactical display. His officers were right. The human ship's technology didn't match any known patterns. The fusion reactors were paired with something else, something his scientists couldn't explain. "Admiral," his weapons officer spoke up, "they're shield generators. If these readings are accurate, they're using a modulation frequency we've never seen." "Can we penetrate them?" "Unknown, sir. The math doesn't add up. Their power consumption should drain their reactors in minutes, but the levels remain stable." Vornash made a decision. "All ships, lock weapons on the Earth vessel. Maybe a show of force will make them cooperate." Dozens of targeting lasers painted the Phoenix's hull. On the human bridge, alarms chimed softly. "They're targeting us," Jake reported. Amy's expression didn't change. "Maintain course. Lisa, are the new shields ready?" "Yes, Captain. Though I still think we should have told them about the quantum field manipulation," Lisa said. "One surprise at a time," Amy replied. The standoff continued for several minutes. Neither side moved. Then, a new ship appeared on the sensors, a massive Empire dreadnought dropping out of hyperspace. "This is High Admiral Jektar." A commanding voice boomed across all channels. "Earth vessel, you will surrender immediately or be destroyed." Amy sighed. She had hoped to avoid this. "All hands, prepare for shield demonstration. Let's show them we mean business without firing a shot." "Captain," Sam Davis spoke from the weapons station. "Are you sure? Once they see what we can do." "They need to understand," Amy said firmly. "We're not the primitive species they remember. Activate quantum shields." A ripple of blue energy washed over the Phoenix. On every Empire ship, sensor stations erupted in confusion. The human vessel seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, its shield matrix defying every known law of physics. High Admiral Jektar stared at his readings in shock. The humans had just done something his species considered pure fantasy. High Admiral Vornash watched his screens in complete silence. The human ship's shields shimmered with an energy pattern that hurt to look at directly. His science officer kept shaking his head, muttering calculations that didn't make sense. "Sir," the weapons officer finally spoke. "Orders." Vornash's training took over. The Empire had protocols for dealing with unknown threats. Fire a warning shot. Low power. Let's see how those shields react. A green beam lanced out from the lead patrol vessel. It struck empty space just ahead of the Phoenix's bow. Standard procedure, a shot across the bow to demand compliance. What happened next changed everything. The Phoenix's shields flared bright blue. The warning shot's energy seemed to bend around the ship, creating a beautiful but impossible light pattern. Then the human vessel simply vanished. Where did it go? Vornash shouted. Panic erupted on the bridge. Officers scrambled at their stations, checking and rechecking sensors. The Phoenix had disappeared completely. No hyperspace signature, no cloaking field residue, nothing. "Sir," the navigation officer yelled. "Behind us. It's behind us." Vornash spun his command chair. There, floating peacefully behind the entire Empire fleet, was the Phoenix. It had moved through 17 warships without anyone seeing it. "That's impossible," someone whispered. "Nothing can move that fast without entering hyperspace." On the Phoenix, Captain Amy Johnson allowed herself a small smile. "Nice work, Jake." Dimensional fold drive worked perfectly, Jake reported. "We shifted through subspace for 0.3 seconds. To them, we just teleported." "Captain, they're hailing us," Lisa said. "They sound confused." "Put them through." High Admiral Jektar's voice boomed through the speakers. He no longer sounded commanding. He sounded worried. "Earth vessel, what technology are you using?" "Our science says what you just did cannot exist." Amy activated her comm. "Admiral, we mean no harm. That was a defensive maneuver only. We developed some new theories about space-time. Your scientists might find them interesting." "New theories?" Jektar's voice cracked slightly. "You just violated 3 fundamental laws of physics." "Your laws," Amy corrected gently. "We found some exceptions." The Empire fleet reorganized quickly, surrounding the Phoenix again, but at a much greater distance. On Jektar's dreadnought, an emergency meeting convened. "Explain what we just saw," Jektar demanded of his chief scientist. The elderly Vorthan scientist looked exhausted. "I cannot, Admiral. By our understanding, matter cannot phase through dimensional barriers without massive energy expenditure. That ship used barely any power. Could they have technology from another species? The ancients, perhaps?" "No, Admiral. This is something new, something we've never seen." Back on the Phoenix, the crew waited patiently. They had made their point without firing a single weapon. The Empire now knew humanity wasn't defenseless. "Captain," Sam Davis spoke from weapons. "They're charging main guns on 3 ships. Are they targeting us?" "No, Mom. They're targeting empty space around us. I think they're setting up a containment field." Amy nodded. The Empire was scared now, trying to trap them. Time for demonstration 2. "Lisa, activate the particle destabilizer. Let's show them our shields aren't our only surprise." "Captain, that might escalate." "Just a small demonstration. Target that asteroid field at bearing 27 Mark IV. Minimum power." The Phoenix's hull began to hum. Strange antennae extended from previously hidden ports. On the Empire ships, radiation alarms screamed warnings. A thin purple beam shot from the Phoenix. It struck a distant asteroid, and every watching officer gasped. The space rock didn't explode or break apart. It simply ceased to exist, converted instantly to its component atoms. "By the void," Admiral Vornash breathed. "They can manipulate matter at the subatomic level." The Empire fleet pulled back even further. Whatever these humans had become, They weren't the primitive species from 3 centuries ago. They were something new, something dangerous. On his dreadnought, High Admiral Jektar faced a terrible decision. Attack now and risk destruction, or report to the Emperor that humans had achieved the impossible. Either choice would shake the Empire's foundation. The Phoenix floated quietly in space, surrounded by nervous Empire ships. Inside, Dr. Lisa Roberts stood before a holographic display showing the alien fleet's positions. She turned to her fellow crew members with excitement in her eyes. "They're completely baffled," she said. "Look at their energy signatures. Their computers can't process what they're seeing." Captain Amy Johnson joined her at the display. "How much do they understand?" "Almost nothing," Lisa replied. "They're still using standard hyperspace theory. They believe space has only 4 dimensions. They don't know about quantum folding or dimensional layers, or entanglement drives," added Chief Engineer Bill Cooper from his station. "Their fastest ships use hyperspace jumps. Takes them hours to cross a galaxy. We can do it in minutes." Amy nodded thoughtfully. "Open a channel to their command ship. It's time to explain." On the Empire's dreadnought, High Admiral Jektar listened to his advisors argue. Some wanted immediate attack. Others counseled caution. The appearance of impossible human technology had shattered their confidence. "Incoming transmission from the Earth ship," an officer announced. "Put it through," Jektar ordered. Amy's face appeared on the main screen. She smiled warmly, trying to appear non-threatening. "Admiral Jektar, I think we should talk. You have questions. We have answers. You possess weapons that shouldn't exist," Jektar said coldly. "Explain yourself." "Gladly," Amy replied. "But first, you need to understand something. To you, we just performed magic. To us, we used basic physics." She nodded to Lisa, who stepped into view. The young scientist held up a small device. "This is a quantum field manipulator. Your Empire uses energy shields based on electromagnetic barriers." "We went deeper." "Deeper?" Jektar asked. "We learned that reality has more layers than you know," Lisa explained. "Your shields stop energy and matter. Ours exist partially outside normal spacetime. Energy passes through different dimensional planes where your weapons can't reach." The Empire's scientists listened in growing amazement. Lisa continued her explanation, using simple terms to describe complex ideas. 300 years ago, you visited Earth," she said. "You saw primitive humans and left. But you gave us the most important gift possible, the knowledge that we weren't alone. That knowledge changed us," Amy added. "We united as a species, every nation, every scientist, every resource focused on one goal, reaching the stars." On his bridge, Admiral Vornash whispered to his aide, "Could this be true? Could they have advanced so quickly?" Lisa activated another hologram. "You follow the rules of physics as you learn them. But humans question everything." We asked, "What if the rules are incomplete?" She showed them a diagram of spacetime. "You see space as flat with hyperspace beneath. We discovered it's more like an onion, layer after layer of reality. Our dimensional fold drive moves between layers." "That's impossible," one of Jektar's scientists protested. "The energy requirements are huge if you stay in one layer," Lisa interrupted. "But sliding between layers takes almost no energy, like walking around a mountain instead of climbing over it." Amy spoke again. "Your Empire learned physics from older races. You inherited their limitations. Humans had to figure everything out ourselves. We made mistakes, but we also made discoveries. The particle beam that destroyed the asteroid," Jektar said slowly. "How?" "Quantum entanglement weaponry," Lisa explained. "We don't destroy matter. We convince it to destroy itself by altering quantum states. Every atom splits simultaneously." The bridge fell silent. The implications were staggering. If humans could manipulate matter at the quantum level, traditional defenses meant nothing. "We noticed something interesting," Lisa continued. "Your probe's crash site on Earth, 300 years ago, you left behind technology. We studied it, learned from it, then improved it. You reverse-engineered our technology. Vornash gasped. And made it better, Amy confirmed. Humans are very good at taking things apart to see how they work. Then we ask, what if we tried this differently? Jektar's mind raced. The galaxy's balance of power had just shifted dramatically. These humans hadn't just caught up to the Empire. They had surpassed it. High Admiral Jektar stared at the human faces on his screen. The conversation had reached a critical point. Either he accepted their peaceful intentions, or he ordered an attack that might end badly for everyone. You claim peaceful intentions, he said finally, yet you display weapons that could destroy entire fleets. How can we trust you? Captain Amy Johnson's expression remained calm. Actions speak louder than words, Admiral. We'll give you a demonstration. Sam, charge the main particle cannon. On the Phoenix's weapons deck, Sam Davis worked his controls, targeting empty space, Sector 927. No ships, no debris, just vacuum. Empire vessels. Amy announced, we're about to fire our main weapon. Please observe Sector 927. We're targeting empty space only. Every sensor on every Empire ship turned toward the indicated sector. On Jektar's dreadnought, the weapons officer's face went pale as energy readings spiked beyond anything he'd seen before. Admiral, their power buildup. It's reading like a small star, he reported. A brilliant purple beam erupted from the Phoenix. It carved through space, reaching the empty sector in milliseconds. Where it struck, reality seemed to twist. A small asteroid, previously undetected, simply ceased to exist. Not exploded, not vaporized, erased from existence. Full sensor analysis, Jektar ordered, his voice shaking slightly. Complete atomic dissolution, the science officer reported. Every molecule separated into component particles. The energy release was contained somehow. That shouldn't be possible. Amy's voice came through again. That was at 10% power, Admiral. We can dial it up or down as needed, but we choose not to use it against living beings. 10%. Vornash whispered on his ship. Lisa Roberts appeared on screen again. Our weapons work on quantum probability fields. We make atoms forget how to stay together. But here's the interesting part. We developed these weapons for mining, not war. Mining? Several Empire officers said simultaneously. Asteroid mining. Lisa explained. Converting matter to energy is much more efficient than traditional extraction. The weapons application was accidental. On the Phoenix, Jake Miller watched his sensors carefully. Captain, their fleet is pulling back. I'm reading massive communication traffic between their ships. Let them talk, Amy said. They need time to process this. Indeed, the Empire's command structure was in chaos. Emergency meetings convened on every ship. Scientists compared readings that defied their understanding. Military officers recalculated threat assessments. Diplomats wondered how to report this to the Emperor. There's more, Amy continued. Lisa, show them the drones. The Phoenix's hull opened in several places. Small objects emerged, drones no larger than a human torso. They moved with impossible grace, darting between the Empire ships like insects. Notice their movement patterns, Lisa said. No thrusters, no reaction mass. They fold space around themselves for propulsion. Each one carries sensors that can map entire star systems in minutes. A drone approached Jektar's dreadnought, stopping just outside weapon range. It spun slowly, scanning the massive ship. On the bridge, officers watched nervously as their own sensors failed to get clear readings on the tiny device. How many of these do you have? Jektar asked. The Phoenix carries 50, Amy replied. Our actual warships carry thousands. But again, we prefer exploration to conquest. Warships. Vornash's voice cut in. The Phoenix isn't a warship. Amy smiled slightly. The Phoenix is a diplomatic vessel. We designed her for first contact situations. Our military vessels are different. The implication hit every Empire officer simultaneously. If this was just a diplomatic ship, what could their warships do? We've been preparing for this moment for centuries, Amy explained. Ever since we learned we weren't alone. We knew we'd eventually meet the Galactic Empire. We wanted to be ready. Ready for war? Jektar asked. Ready for peace, Amy corrected, but prepared for anything. Humanity learned an important lesson from our own history. Weakness invites aggression. So we made sure we wouldn't be weak. The standoff continued, but the dynamic had shifted completely. The Empire fleet no longer surrounded the Phoenix as captors. They maintained distance as cautious observers of a power they didn't understand. Ambassador Carol White stepped onto the Phoenix's bridge. She was an older woman with gray hair and kind eyes, but her posture showed strength. Amy Johnson stepped aside, giving the diplomat control of the situation. High Admiral Jektar, Carol began, her voice warm but firm. I think it's time for a history lesson. May I share something with you? Jektar nodded slowly on his screen. Proceed, Ambassador. Carol activated a holographic display visible to all the Empire ships. It showed Earth as it appeared centuries ago, blue and green, but clearly pre-industrial. 300 years ago, your empire visited Earth, she began. Your scouts observed primitive humans and left. You classified us as a Level 2 civilization. No space travel, no advanced energy systems, no unified government. The image changed, showing an alien probe crashed in a mountain range. But you left something behind. A damaged probe that crashed in what we call the Himalayas. That probe changed everything. The display showed humans in crude protective suits examining the wreckage. We couldn't understand most of it at first. Your technology was so far beyond ours. But humans have always been curious creatures. You reverse-engineered our probe. Vornash asked from his ship. We tried. Carol smiled. We failed completely. Your probe used principles we couldn't grasp. But failure taught us something important. Our understanding of physics was wrong. The images shifted, showing Earth's nations coming together. The probe's discovery was kept secret initially, but when governments realized what it meant, that we weren't alone, everything changed. Old enemies became allies. Resources poured into science programs. Humanity united with a single purpose. Reaching the stars, Amy added quietly. Carol nodded. We knew you were out there. We knew you were advanced. And we knew you had dismissed us as primitive. That motivated us even more. The display showed human scientists working frantically, testing theories, building prototypes. Many failures, many explosions, but always learning. Your probe used hyperspace technology, Carol continued. We couldn't replicate it. So we ask ourselves, what if there's another way? What if hyperspace isn't the only method of faster-than-light travel? That question led to breakthrough after breakthrough. Lisa Roberts chimed in. We discovered quantum entanglement could work on a macro scale. We found that space itself could be folded. We learned that dimensions weren't fixed but fluid. Carol showed more images, the first human space stations, the early colony ships, the prototype weapons. Every time we hit a wall, we went around it. When your physics said something was impossible, we looked for new physics. But the most important discovery wasn't technological, Carol said, her voice growing serious. It was psychological. Knowing we weren't alone in the universe unified our species like nothing before. No more wars between nations. No more wasted resources on conflict. Every human worked toward the same goal. Meeting you, Jektar said slowly. Meeting anyone, Carol corrected. We didn't know if you'd be friendly or hostile, so we prepared for both. We developed defensive technologies that could protect us and offensive ones that could deter aggression. The display showed modern Earth, a planet covered in gleaming cities and orbital installations. Today, 12 billion humans work together. Our children learn quantum mathematics in school. Our teenagers build dimensional field generators for science projects. What seems impossible to you is everyday life for us. Because you approach the universe without preconceptions, Jektar observed. Exactly, Carol smiled. Your empire inherited its knowledge from older races. You learned that certain things were impossible because they told you so. Humans had no such limitations. We had to discover everything ourselves, and sometimes we discovered that the impossible was merely difficult. The Phoenix represents our best hope, Carol concluded. We could have sent warships. We could have announced ourselves with force. Instead, we chose diplomacy. We want to join the galactic community, not conquer it. She paused, letting her words sink in. But make no mistake, we will defend ourselves if necessary. Humanity learned from its own violent history. We offer friendship, but we're prepared for anything. The Empire officers exchanged glances across their ships. The humans weren't just advanced. They were unpredictable, innovative, and unified. That combination made them potentially the most significant force the galaxy had seen in millennia. Emperor Thrain Vor sat in his crystalline throne room at the center of the Galactic Empire. The vast chamber could hold thousands, but today only his closest advisors were present. They had just finished watching the recordings from the human first contact. The silence stretched for long minutes. Finally, the Emperor spoke, his voice echoing off the crystal walls. So the primitives we ignored have become something unprecedented. Your Majesty, Supreme Admiral Kexel began carefully. The human vessel demonstrated technologies that our scientists say are impossible. Yet the evidence is undeniable. The Emperor's advisor, an ancient Forthan named Helix, stepped forward. The implications are staggering, Your Majesty. For 10,000 years, our empire has maintained order through technological superiority. Now these humans appear with capabilities that make our greatest achievements look outdated. Show me the analysis again, Thrainvor commanded. Holographic displays filled the air. The Phoenix's specifications, its impossible weapons, its dimension-folding drives. Every piece of data challenged the Empire's fundamental understanding of physics. They claim this is just a diplomatic vessel, General Braxtor growled. The military commander's forearms clenched with frustration. If their warships are more advanced, we could face potential conquest, another advisor finished. Or opportunity, suggested Helix quietly. All eyes turned to the aged advisor. He continued, the humans say they want to join the galactic community, not conquer it. What if they speak truth? Trust them. Braxtor snarled. They could destroy entire fleets with weapons we can't defend against. Yet they haven't. Helix noted. They demonstrated their power without killing a single being. That shows remarkable restraint. Emperor Thrainvor rose from his throne. At 3 meters tall, his presence commanded attention. Contact the human vessel. I will speak with them directly. Across the galaxy, on the Phoenix Bridge, Communications Officer Lisa Roberts looked up in surprise. Captain, incoming transmission from the Imperial capital. It's the Emperor himself. Amy straightened her uniform. Put him through. Full diplomatic protocols. The Emperor's image appeared on the main screen. His blue-scaled face was unreadable, but his golden eyes showed intelligence. Captain Johnson, I am Emperor Thrainvor of the Galactic Empire. We need to discuss your species' place in our galaxy. Your Majesty, Amy replied with a respectful nod. We're honored by your direct communication. Humanity seeks peaceful coexistence with the Empire. Your technology suggests otherwise, the Emperor said bluntly. Weapons that can erase matter, drives that ignore physics, shields that exist between dimensions. These are tools of conquerors. Carol White stepped forward. With respect, Your Majesty, every technology can be used for war or peace. We choose peace, but we maintain strength to ensure it. The Emperor studied the humans carefully. You unified your entire world after discovering you weren't alone. Our sociologists say that's unprecedented. Most species fragment when faced with such knowledge. Humans are social creatures, Carol explained. External threats unite us. Knowing advanced civilizations existed gave us a common goal: survive and thrive among the stars. And if we refuse your entry to the Empire? Thranvor asked. If we see you as a threat to stability? Amy's expression hardened slightly. We hope it won't come to that. But humanity will not be caged or controlled. We've spent 3 centuries preparing for this moment. A threat. Braxtor interrupted from beside the Emperor. A fact. Amy replied calmly. We offer partnership. The alternative benefits no one. The Emperor raised a hand, silencing his general. You present us with a dilemma. Humans, accept you and risk internal disruption as our citizens learn their technology is obsolete. Reject you and face potential conflict with an unknown power. There's a third option, Carol suggested. Partnership. Your empire has culture, history, and wisdom spanning millennia. We have innovative technology and fresh perspectives. Together, we could achieve more than either could alone. Thranvor considered this. Around him, his advisors whispered urgently. The future of the galaxy hung on his decision. The humans had changed everything simply by existing. Emperor Thranvor stood in silence for a long moment. His advisors waited anxiously, knowing that his next words would shape the galaxy's future. Finally, the Emperor spoke. Captain Johnson, Ambassador White. He began formally. The Galactic Empire chooses wisdom over pride. We will open diplomatic channels with Earth. Relief washed over the Phoenix Bridge. Amy and Carol exchanged quick glances before Carol responded. Your Majesty, humanity is grateful for your wisdom. We look forward to peaceful relations. However, the Emperor continued, there are conditions. Your ship will dock at Imperial Station 1. Your crew will participate in formal meetings, and you will share some of your technology with our scientists. We agree, Amy said, though technology sharing will need to be gradual. Some of our advances could be dangerous without proper understanding. 3 days later, the Phoenix approached the Empire's greatest space station. The massive structure dwarfed even the largest warships, its crystalline spires stretching into space like frozen lightning. Crowds gathered at every viewport. Dozens of species pressed together, all wanting to see the impossible humans. Children of various alien races pointed excitedly as the blocky Earth ship docked among the elegant Imperial vessels. As the Phoenix crew emerged, gasps rippled through the crowd. The humans looked so ordinary. Bipedal, no scales or extra limbs, no natural armor. How could such simple beings have created such advanced technology? Dr. Lisa Roberts walked beside her crewmates, observing everything with scientific curiosity. Look at their variety, she whispered to Jake Miller. Hundreds of different species all working together. For 10,000 years, Jake replied. Makes our 300 years of unity seem small. They were escorted to a vast conference hall where the Emperor waited with his full council. Thranvor had chosen to meet them in person, a rare honor that showed the significance of this moment. Welcome to the Galactic Empire, the Emperor said formally. You stand where no human has stood before. Carol White stepped forward. We're honored, Your Majesty. This moment represents the dreams of 12 billion humans. The formal ceremonies continued for hours. Treaties were discussed, boundaries established, trade agreements proposed. But the real breakthrough came during a break, when Lisa Roberts found herself talking with the Empire's chief scientist. Your quantum field manipulation, the Vorthan scientist said eagerly. How did you solve the energy paradox? Lisa smiled. We didn't. We realized the paradox only exists if you assume space-time is continuous. Once you accept that reality has discrete layers. Discrete layers. The scientist's eyes widened. But that would mean that everything we thought we knew about physics needs revision. Lisa finished. Exactly. Word spread quickly through the station. Human scientists were sharing knowledge that challenged millennia of established science. Young Imperial students gathered around any human they could find, asking questions that their professors couldn't answer. Back in the conference hall, Emperor Thranvor watched the cultural exchange with interest. His advisor Helix stood beside him. "The disruption has already begun," Helix observed. "Our people are questioning everything they thought they knew." "Change is uncomfortable," the Emperor agreed. "But stagnation is death. Perhaps these humans are exactly what our empire needs." As the day progressed, something remarkable happened. Fear turned to curiosity, suspicion to excitement. The humans weren't conquerors, they were catalysts. Their presence sparked innovation and questions throughout the station. Captain Amy Johnson stood on an observation deck, watching Earth's sun in the distance. Sam Davis joined her. "Did you ever think we'd get here?" Sam asked. "Honestly, I wasn't sure they'd accept us," Amy admitted. "But look at them now." Below, human and alien children played together, their parents watching with wonder. Scientists from different species collaborated on equations that mixed imperial knowledge with human innovation. The galaxy was changing, one mind at a time. Carol White approached the Emperor one final time. "Your Majesty, this is just the beginning. Humanity has much to learn from the Empire, and perhaps we have something to offer in return." "Indeed," Thranvor replied. "The age of separation is over. Welcome to the galactic community, humans." The future stretched before them, full of possibilities neither side had imagined.